Hey everyone, welcome to this explainer. Okay, today we are tackling something that honestly causes so much frustration, whether you're a total beginner or a seasoned pro. We're talking wire cutters, and specifically, we're going to break down how just choosing the right geometry for the task, it literally changes absolutely everything. Let's get into it.
I mean, be honest. Have you ever mangled a perfectly good wire or maybe completely ruined a delicate component just because you grabbed the wrong pair of pliers? Look, we've all been there, right? You just grab whatever's closest in the toolbox, you squeeze the handles, and instead of that satisfying, clean snap, you get this chewed up, frayed disaster. But here's the thing. Avoiding that nightmare is really just about matching the specific geometry of the cutter to whatever material you're actually working with. Okay, let's dive into this. Section 1, the right tool matters. Unlocking the master cheat sheet.
So what we have here is basically our definitive master cheat sheet. It maps out the 5 critical types of wire cutters you're actually going to encounter out in the wild. And it breaks down not just what each tool looks like, but its exact intended purpose, From your standard everyday diagonal cutter, all the way to the super specialized flush cutter. We're going to use this roadmap to make sure you literally never use the wrong tool again.
Moving right along to Section 2, the everyday workhorses, your go-to essentials.
All right, first up in our workhorse lineup, we've got diagonal cutting pliers. You'll hear these called side cutters a lot. Now, this is the most commonly used wire cutter out there. If I tell you to picture a standard pair of wire cutters right now, this is probably exactly what pops into your head. They're specifically built for cutting softer metals, so we're talking copper, aluminum, and just your standard small electrical wires. These are absolutely the foundation of your entire cutting tool set.
And rounding out those everyday workhorses, we have combination pliers. Now, what makes these guys so special is that they aren't just for cutting, they're total multitaskers. You can grip, you can twist, bend, and uniquely, they have this built-in cutter right there for light to medium electrical wires. Because of that insane versatility, electricians use these constantly for general work. It's a real game changer because you don't have to keep swapping tools when you're twisting a wire and then instantly need to snip the end off.
Next up, Section 3, Precision and Surface Cuts, the surgeons of the toolbox. And this brilliantly illustrates why you need distinct tools for distinct jobs. Let's compare 2 totally different precision instruments. On one side, we have end cutting pliers, or just end cutters. Notice how the cutting edges are right at the very front? That design lets you reach straight in and snip wire ends, nails, or pins completely close to a flat surface. You definitely wouldn't use these for delicate electronics, right? You use them when you need to, say, cut a nail totally flush with a piece of wood. But conversely, look at the flush cutter. This one is engineered to give a perfectly flat, smooth, flush cut on the wire itself. That's exactly why it's the absolute go-to for electronics, PCB work, printed circuit boards, and trimming those pesky cable ties so they don't leave a razor-sharp, jagged edge. 2 precision tools, 2 totally different masteries.
Section 4, tackling thick electrical cables, the heavy lifters. Okay, so now we're talking about the cable cutter. This is for the heavy lifting. When you're dealing with thick electrical cables, a standard pair of side cutters is just not going to cut it. Actually, they'll probably just mash all that thick copper together and make a mess. The cable cutter, though, is explicitly designed for these heavy-duty cables to give you a flawlessly clean cut without crushing the cable itself. By keeping the internal structure and shape of that heavy wire totally intact during the cut, you guarantee a proper, safe connection when you actually go to terminate or splice it later. It's all about clean cuts and absolutely zero crushing.
Section 5, the electrician's top choice, testing your knowledge. All right, imagine this. You're sitting across the table for a high-stakes apprenticeship interview. The interviewer looks you right in the eye and asks this exact question. Which wire cutter is most commonly used by electricians? Take a second. Think back to the very beginning of our toolbox tour. Do you have your answer locked in? Well, if you said diagonal cutting pliers, the side cutter, you totally nailed it. That is the undisputed MVP of the electrical trade. Since the vast majority of an electrician's day involves cutting standard copper and aluminum wiring, the side cutter is by far the most reliable, commonly reached for tool in the entire pouch. It really is the absolute cornerstone of wire cutting. As we wrap up this explainer, I really want you to take this away. True craftsmanship starts long before you ever actually make a cut. It starts in your head. It's about analyzing the material, understanding your end goal, and then choosing the exact right tool for that specific job. Whether you're trimming up a super delicate PCB board, snipping a nail flush against a wall, or slicing cleanly through a massive power cable without crushing it,
You now have the knowledge to do it right the first time. So, the next time you open up your toolbox, which wire cutter are you going to confidently reach for? Thanks so much for joining me to explore this guide, and hey, happy building!